Good afternoon. Today we will be listening to I will be reading it because it's a physical paper copy that I had to get of the criminal complaint for Brittany and Tristan Hull. They do have a playlist if you would like to continue to follow this case. And yes, the title of this video, Evil Walks Amongst Us. These are the people that we are trying so hard to stop. So at this point, they are charged with count 1, chronic neglect of a child. Consequence is great bodily harm. The defendants between June 1, 2020 and October 15, 2023 in the town of Rib Mountain, Marathon County, Wisconsin, being a person responsible for the welfare of a child through his failure to take action for reasons other than poverty, did negligently fail to provide necessary care, food, clothing, and medical care so as to seriously endanger the physical, mental, or emotional health of the child, and the child suffer great bodily harm as a consequence, and the actor is guilty of chronic neglect as they committed 3 or more violations under statute 948.21 subsection 2, 948.215 subsection 1 and 2, and subsection 2B1, 939.50 subsection 3D. A Class D felony, the fine up to $100,000 or imprisoned not more than 25 years or both. Count 2, physical abuse of a child intentionally causing great bodily harm. Between June 1, 2020 and October 15, 2023 in the town of Rib Mountain, Marathon County, Wisconsin, did intentionally cause great bodily harm to a child. Upon conviction, may be fined not more than $100,000 or imprisoned not more than 40 years or both. The basis for complainant's charge of such offenses is that complainant is a law enforcement officer in Marathon County and makes the complaint based upon his review of police reports by Deputy Zhang of the Marathon County Sheriff's Department. These reports can be relied upon as a basis for probable cause because each of the aforementioned officers purports to have investigated the matters related herein and have prepared said report in the regular course of duty as law enforcement officer. Based upon defendants, this complaint is further based upon defendant's statements believed to be truthful and reliable as they are made against his penal interests. This complaint is further based upon statements of citizen witnesses believed to be truthful and reliable as made by citizen witnesses to the facts related. According to the report, Deputy Zhang of the Marathon County Sheriff's Office on October 15, 2023 was dispatched to a resident on Hollabush Lane, town of Red Mountain, Marathon County for a medical emergency. Upon arriving on the scene, and he observed EMS performing CPR on a child in the ambulance. Reports indicate that CPR was performed for 25 minutes. Deputy Zhang made contact with Tristan Hull, who stated that his daughter had drank a protein shake and had trouble breathing. Tristan said she began to gargle the shake and could not swallow. She then stiffened up and became unresponsive. Tristan said his wife, Brittany Hull, was with her during the medical emergency. Tristan said that she was 15 years old and had stopped growing 2 to 3 years ago. The victim stood 4 foot tall and weighed approximately 50 pounds. Tristan claimed she had a history of health problems but only specified a condition that caused poor blood circulation. The deputy spoke to Brittany Hull, who gave a similar account. Brittany spoke about sending regular updates to the doctor concerning her weight and height. It was learned that Tristan and Brittany had been together since she was 5 years old. Brittany has a 12-year-old child from a previous relationship. Tristan and Brittany have a child of their own, who is 8 years old. According to the report of Detective Subert of Marathon County Sheriff's Office, on Friday, October 20th, he was assigned to conduct a follow-up investigation of the medical emergency that occurred on October 15th. She learned that the victim was taken to Aspires-Wausau Hospital before being flown to Marshfield Medical Center in Marshfield. When examined at Marshfield, she weighed 58 pounds. Hospital staff found that her organs began to fail because of severe dehydration. The victim also went into bone marrow failure due to malnutrition. The victim was unresponsive but was able to open her eyes. When she spoke, it was unintelligible. The victim was described as being confused when awake. The victim was intubated until October 20th. Since her admittance, hospital staff ran several tests and ruled out any medical conditions that would prevent the victim from gaining weight. Additionally, staff did not note any anorexic or self-inflicted behaviors. A review of the medical records by Detective Subert and Dr. Iniguez from Marshfield Clinic show that the victim's weight is below the normal weight for the age curve for a child her age. The lowest weight in the curve is 90 pounds. She was 58 pounds at the time she was admitted to Marshfield. The records also showed that her height was approximately 5 inches below the normal height for the age curve. Dr. Iniguez determined these results can be explained by her suffering from severe malnutrition. Detective Subert spoke to Brittany Hull on October 23, 2023. Detective Subert asked how Brittany knew asked Brittany how she was managing the victim's weight. Brittany said she took her to a dietitian and did not follow the recommendations. On October 19th, Detective Subert was dispatched to speak with JDH, who wished to discuss the victim. JDH is the pastor of their church. He told Detective Subert that he believes the victim was being abused in the household. The pastor explained that the Hull Grafe family members were members of the church but had recently stopped attending. However, the 3 children would attend the children's program once a week and had been doing so for several years. The pastor said when he heard that the victim was in the hospital, it prompted him to call. The pastor says that he and the church staff watched her health steadily decline over the years, and they were concerned that the victim was underfed. The pastor says the victim would come to classes and struggled to focus because she was literally starving. Teachers would bring snacks for the victim, and the pastor said she would inhale the food. The pastor said that the victim was caught taking food, stuffing it in her pockets, and hiding it in another part of the building so she could eat it without Brittany seeing her. On October 25, 2023, Detective Subert was informed by social workers and staff and hospital staff that since being admitted, the victim had begun to gain weight again. She gained 4.85 pounds in 8 days and showed a good tolerance to increased calorie goals, as well as tolerance to a variety of foods. The victim was also not having difficulty consuming dairy products. On October 25th, the victim met with a pediatric psychologist for 45 minutes to discuss her progress. No other individuals were present. During the meeting, the victim expressed that she was happy that she could eat what she wants and that she was feeling better since eating enough food at the hospital. After the meeting, the doctor met with Tristan and Brittany. Brittany made a comment to the doctor about the victim having issues with executive dysfunction due to her ADHD, which is why the victim was placed on a special diet. Brittany stated that this diet was recommended by an outpatient nutritionist. However, Detective Subert found that Brittany and Tristan were not following the recommendations of the nutritionist. Additionally, the doctor stated that the victim has appropriate executive functioning. On October 26, 2023, at approximately 9:36 a.m., a child forensic interview was conducted with the victim at the Marshfield Medical Center. During the forensic interview, the victim said that she lives with her stepmother and her father and her 2 siblings. The victim says that Brittany has been married to Tristan for 2 or 3 years, but Brittany has been in her life since she was 5 years old. When discussing life in the home, the victim is homeschooled and said that Brittany was very strict with her when it came to eating, such as not allowing her to eat snacks. The victim said she needed snacks because she needed to gain weight. The victim said that her siblings were allowed to eat breakfast, but she was not allowed to. She said her siblings were allowed to eat snacks, but the victim said she would get in trouble for trying to eat snacks without permission. Detective Subert confirmed that was plenty of food in the house. There was plenty of food in the house. Sorry, there are some typos. When she was at the residence, and the other children did not show the same malnutrition. Detective Subert later observed a lock on the outside of the victim's doors, keyed locks on all windows, and a working door alarm at her bedroom door. The victim, she was told by her parents that she had ADHD and an undiagnosed medical condition that made it difficult for her to gain weight. Because of this, the victim said Brittany put her on a special diet. The victim was asked about whether the family consulted a dietitian about the special diet that she was placed on. The victim explained that Brittany had done the research herself, so there was no need to listen to the dietitian. The victim said that it was Brittany's idea to go on the special diet. Brittany prepared the meals for the victim. The victim said she wanted to discuss the diet with Brittany, but she would not discuss it with the victim. The victim did not push the subject because it usually led to verbal arguments. The victim said that she was excited to eat her meals, but was rarely full after finishing them. She said that when she ate her meals, she would be seated at a small table in the corner of the living room. She said she was placed at this corner table for most of the day and was not allowed to eat with her family. She said that she had lunch at dinner time and would eat a meal right before bed. The victim said that her father would be at home while this was occurring and did not seem to have an issue with how Brittany was handling things. In addition to the special diet, Brittany limited her water intake to 16 ounces a day. She said if she was hungry, she would have to wait for her next meal. If the victim asked Brittany for permission to eat more food due to hunger, Brittany would tell her to wait until her scheduled meals and would not give her more food. There were many times the victim explained she was weak and Brittany had to spoon feed her because her wrist would hurt when picking up utensils. On November 8th, Detective Enerson completed a review of the forensic data of Tristan Hull's black LG smartphone. He reported there were messages between Tristan and Brittany where Tristan stated that the victim was so cold she was shaking and having trouble writing in her room. Brittany replied to Tristan that the victim does not need a sweatshirt. On December 5th, 2023, Detective Subert reviewed images and videos taken from a security camera placed in the victim's room. In these images, Detective Subert did not observe any blankets or bedding on the mattress. Detective Subert observed tape books to the mattress that would force the victim to sleep in a certain position, and also reviewed videos where the victim was forced to stand with their hands up for hours, visibly shaking and crying in these videos. Detective Subert observed videos of both Tristan and Brittany entering the bedroom and forcing her to raise her hands higher, even though she is visibly crying and shaking. This appears to be the end of the criminal complaint. It kind of abruptly ended, unfortunately. But I do have more documents. Those will be reviewed and videos will be dropped for those other documents. This is a tragic case. The only light here is the victim did survive, and these monsters were caught. We must see justice through, and we have to get to the bottom of how this sick stuff happens. I did review in other documents that I will be releasing some unusual things that were found in the home. These people are not really being covered at all anywhere across the country. They are not on anyone's radar, and this is the problem. You have evil as great as Ruby Frankie, Jody Hildebrandt, and they are flying under the radar, but not on my watch. So I hope you follow this case. Again, there is a playlist for this couple, and I will continue to release all of these documents that I have obtained. You have a great day.